Yesterday at 2 o'clock, this is September 26th, I believe, Maria, an experienced jumper, 155 jumps, made a downwind run over the freeway when it was a little bit gusty, a little bit windy, well within the limits of her experience, at 150 jumps, wasn't able to make it back off of the freeway. Why she went that far downwind, nobody knows. It's a decision she made. She came in contact with a semi-truck going southbound on Highway 99, and I'm sure it was fatal at the instant of contact with the truck. She was thrown to the pavement on Highway 99 southbound, right across the street from the Parachute Center. I would be glad to entertain any questions that you may have.
Bill, I think one of the big questions that people have on their mind is the criteria when there is wind. Is there a certain threshold where you say, hey, you just can't jump?
No, there really isn't as far as experienced jumpers are concerned. The students are pretty well regulated. We stop at 15. It depends a little bit on their weight. Sometimes we'll stop at 10 miles an hour. 15 is the normal stoppage for students. Once you get your A license, which is 25 jumps, then the wind discretion is up to you, your parachute, your weight. There's a lot of variables. There were approximately 15 people on the load. It was windy earlier in the day. Wind at this area is fairly common. It's nothing that she's not hadn't experienced before. So the wind was definitely a factor, but it wasn't. It was her decision. Everybody else landed on the airport. She had been here on numerous other occasions. She's from Colombia, I believe. She had been at this location. I think this fourth trip here. She arrived about 2 weeks ago. I don't have the exact date, and had been jumping for the last 2 weeks, made 20-some jumps since she arrived the last time.
20-something jumps from here?
Well, she's had a lot more jumps from here than 20. Since her arrival, her last arrival, approximately 2 weeks ago, she had made 20 jumps in that period of time.
And what was the wind speed at that
It's
time?
probably about 15, maybe 20.
And for someone experienced like her, who's been doing this for quite some time, again, the wind speed obviously matters, but for someone with that kind of experience, they should be able to handle any kind of wind speed, or is there something where it gets to a point where like no one should jump?
Well, everybody has a variable. Nobody's going to jump in a hurricane, obviously. I mean, you have to use some common sense. There's a lot of variables. Your weight makes a difference. The parachute you have makes a difference. But that's a decision each individual makes. Like I said, the 15 other people on the load all landed on the airport in the right place at the right time. Was it windy? Yes. Was it too windy? No, not for her experience level. She had literally made a run downwind over the freeway. Everybody else stopped long before the freeway and faced into the wind.
What do you believe might have gone wrong on that particular jump?
I really can't speculate on that other than going too far downwind.
Bill, does the center ever say, okay, it's too windy, we're not taking non-professionals up today, or anything like that? Are there?
Oh, of course. I mean, you've been in the valley long enough. We've had 50-mile-an-hour winds. Nobody goes up in that. Most of the time, the jumpers don't rely on us to make that decision. They make that decision themselves. We've had, over the years, a lot of people get off a load because the winds had picked up, and we certainly just give them their tickets back, and they go about whatever they're doing. It's a decision the individual makes.
Had she jumped yesterday before that fatal jump?
I'm not sure whether that's her first jump yesterday or not. We had, that's I think our fourth load or something like that for the day, a second one out of the big airplane. So I don't know that she had jumped earlier than that. We don't track people.
Does the highway being so close to the jump center make jumpers nervous, or is that?
Well, it is an issue, and we do emphasize the freeways there, and it's so obvious that most people realize it. In the 30-some years that we've been here, we've had 3 people, not counting this last individual, land on the freeway. Fortunately, other than bumps and bruises, none of them got hurt, none of them got hit by a car or a truck, but yes, it can happen. we usually have people that get stuck over the freeway, the winds come up, or they don't realize how windy it is. They usually turn their parachute and land on the other side in Farmer Brown's grape field, and he gets very upset about that. So we're pretty adamant about making sure, check the wind, stay upwind.
Is there anything you could do to move your landing center out further into the airport area, away from the freeway, or is that just a convenience thing? Or
Well, I guess it really
thought about that?
depends on how much money you have. Anything's possible, but no, the airport was here long before I got here. The airport's been here since 1921. So, as far as moving the airport,
Moving where your landing center is located. Is there like a target area that you aim for?
Well, the whole airport's a target. So people land wherever they want to land. The students land further away from the freeway. We kind of emphasize that. But once you're no longer a student, then that no longer becomes an issue. It's a decision you make.
So she's 28 and had done 150.
155 jumps, I believe.
Over how long?
I honestly don't know.
There was no kind of malfunction of any kind? Any parachute malfunction?
No, the parachute was fine. There was nothing wrong with the parachute.
So wind was the major factor, would you say?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say her indiscretion was the factor that led to the incident. We've jumped in winds much higher than that. Everybody else on the load landed in the right place. For whatever reason, she just went too far downwind is the expression we use.